Yeah. Hi, Paul here from Hobby to Business. Welcome to Hobby to Business Hub episode 15. Now, what we started doing last week was we reviewed a show we've got here in Australia called The Mentor. We reviewed last week's episode. So this week we're going to review this week's episode, obviously. So just for a rundown of people who didn't see last week's episode, and we'll probably do this for the next couple of weeks just to make sure everyone understands what it is that's not from Australia. There's a very successful self-made businessman here in Australia called Mark Burris. Started multiple companies, just very successful, comes from, humble upbringings, Western Sydney. So, he really is a self-made man. Now, what he's done, he's got this show called The Mentor, where he picks out like businesses apply to be on the show that are struggling, and often these businesses contain very passionate people who just lack the building blocks and business knowledge to make their business viable. So he then goes in, works with them, gives them the building blocks, mentors them, teaches them the things they need, or gets people in those specialty areas to teach them the skills they need to make that business viable. So, and we thought it has real synergies with what we do here at Hobby to Business, because that's exactly what we do, is we go in and we teach people how to turn their passion into a profit. So what we do is we take all that passion with people and we give them the business skills that go along with it to make it a viable income source. So like I said, because it has real synergies with what we like to do, we're going to, and we also think that there's some really great lessons to be learned out of these episodes. So that's why we thought it'd be a great thing for us to review each week's episode in our weekly show. So this week's episode was about a place called Angio's Hair and Beauty. Now, it's a husband and wife partnership who had quite a successful hair and beauty salon. And what happened was they had a particular tragedy in their life around losing a child. And sort of the business waned a bit, obviously, with what they had going on in their life. And the wife didn't go back to the business, I think, for about 12 months. So, probably she did all the beauty stuff. The guy did all the hair, very good hairdresser. So Mark Burris came in and helped them out and looked at what and how they were doing things. Now, the biggest thing in this episode, I think, for really people who are looking at turning into a passive income, is a lot of times you'll work at home with your partner, be that your husband or your wife or, girlfriend, boyfriend, de facto, whatever. Okay, we'll just call it your partner. Or it might not be someone you're in a relationship with. It might be someone who is a genuine business partner. Now, the biggest thing this guy did was micromanage. Now, a couple of things on the rundown of the business. They had 0% staff retention. Now, and that came directly from the micromanagement. Okay, they're 40% sales down. And like I said, they had the vision and the passion. They just really did lack some skills around managing their business. Okay, so it's one thing to be passionate about what you want to do. It's another thing to be a skilled business person to achieve what you want to do with your passion. Okay, so in short, the micromanagement was probably the largest problem there. So they would get staff in. They would last a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and walk out and just not come back. And it was all because of his micromanagement. Now, if that micromanagement, that's also what tears a lot of partnerships apart. Okay, not just this lesson really applies not just to employer-employee setup. This really, applies to a partnership, because the other person in the partnership has to be empowered to make decisions and believe that they're doing what they're doing is right, and that they're not micromanaged by the other person in the partnership, because micromanagement just takes away all of people's power. And when you take away all of people's power in a business, you take away their passion. And over time, you just wear their passion down. And following that becomes failure. So he had to learn not to micromanage. And that was the only way they were going to continue to have any type of staff to, long-term to build the business up, because they couldn't just do it all themselves. It was beyond being a husband and wife business. They needed employees, and his micromanagement was preventing that growth from occurring. So like I said, that lesson applies very much so to a partnership, much like Michelle and my partnership as co-founders of Hobby to Business. If one of us micromanaged the other person, it would really drive the other person away from wanting to do anything in the business, which, leads to failure. So, big lesson, micromanagement doesn't work. They didn't use social media anywhere near enough. They had, some clients who did beautiful hair, but they didn't get it out on social media, and they weren't versed in social media, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. So, they really needed to educate themselves in that manner, and a lot of businesses, if you've got a product or a service or something that you can use in social media, like we do on Hobby to Business, then, you need to learn to use social media better, because it is the easiest way to engage with people that you would not normally cross your path with in any way. Recognize when you have a problem and find a solution. They recognized they had a problem, but they weren't really active in finding a solution themselves to fix the business. It was only once Mark Burris came in that these problems were fixed. So you really have to be driven to fix your problems. Don't avoid your problems. Avoidance will, cause failure in your business, because if you don't fix those problems, they end up, like anything, they snowball, the problems become worse. Now, they gave a lot of stuff away, or gave some things away, probably too much in their business. So the lesson out of that was that if you give away too much of your core product, then the value of your business goes down. They lose, people lose sight of the value of your product or your business or your service. So you cannot, give away, be constantly giving your product at a zero fee or something, because people don't value it. And it's a funny thing about people is that if they get something for nothing, they often don't value it. So if you get given something for free, as opposed to you had to buy it, if you bought it, you would value that product and you would use that product and you would get the value out of it. It's surprising the amount of things people get given that if they had paid for it, they would normally use it, but because they were given it, they didn't see the value in it to them. There was no handover monetary value there, and they just don't value it, so they don't use it to the best of its potential for what it is. So, okay, that's our review of this week's episode or last week's episode of The Mentor. Just want to also mention too that we are only 5 days out from our first ever worldwide competition. So basically at Hobby to Business, our ethos is that we want to help as many people worldwide as we can to learn to turn their passion into a profit and get those business skills in place around, turning their passion from something that just is a passion to something that can become an income for them, a business, a passive income, whatever, and we want to help. Michelle and I are both qualified business coaches. We both have extensive qualifications in business and extensive experience in business, not only in startups, but larger businesses. I myself work in a multinational business. So Michelle runs 2 businesses full time, both that she has started herself, Hobby to Business being one of them, and Corp Financial and Business Consultancy Services as well. So, we are well versed in startups. We are well versed in turning our passion into a profit. So, like I said, our ethos at Hobby to Business and why we started Hobby to Business is so that we could teach people the skills required to do exactly what we've done. We've made the mistakes. If we can be here and teach you the lessons without making the mistakes and without spending the money and the costly mistakes along the way, then everyone's a winner. So around that, we are now at a point where we are viable to our first worldwide competition. And okay, our other competitions have been giveaways based around, special holidays and things like that. This really is our first business-based competition. Now, what we are going to do is give 100 people, because it is worldwide. Usually we have one winner. Because it is worldwide, we want to help as many people as we can. We're going to have 100 winners worldwide. So the chance of winning in this, as compared to what we would normally do, is through the roof. Now, it is our people get our gold level mentor business coaching package for $5 a week. Now, usually over the course of a year, this package is worth over $8,000. So it's a great prize. Over 100 people, we're talking about a prize pool of just under $800,000 in this competition. So we're very excited about it. We're very excited to get out there and help people, in hopefully more than the 32 countries that we're followed in around the world at the moment. So, if people can spread this competition and we can help more people around the world, that's great. So like I said, prize pool of around $800,000. Now, there is a commitment level, but $5 a week, as I said, and it goes into that element we spoke about before when we spoke about our review of the mentor, is that is the level of, even though it's a token value of $5 a week, what's $5 a week? It's a coffee, okay? So if you can't give up a coffee a week to get professional business coaching in a package that is worth over $8,000 a year, then you're not serious about it. So don't enter the competition. If you are, then that is the level of commitment we require. Because as we said before when we did that review, if people get something for nothing, they don't really value it. Now, we want to work with these 100 winners, and we want to make all of these 100 winners successful. These 100 winners are going to have direct access to Michelle and myself to help get their businesses, either the business they've got started already or to start up a business and get it running and become successful. And we're going to be there every step of the way to guide, advise, help, pick you up off the floor when required, because we all have our low times, and that's what we're going to be there as business coaches and consultants, is to do directly with you. Now, like I said, this package is only usually offered at a business level. Us, we've done this package before, and like I said, only with businesses usually before. And that's how extensive this package is. So, like I said, $5 a week, but that's the commitment we require, because we want the winners to be people that are committed so that they get the benefit out of this. We don't want to work with people that are just going to take this as a token, go, oh, great, we've won, and then not commit to doing the work that's going to have to happen to become successful with this. So like I said, you need to understand, once we announce the 100 winners, people have still got to sign up to the website, and they'll get a special password that'll make it a $5 a week cost, as opposed to our normal cost, which would be $8,000 over the course of a year. All right, so that's the level of commitment. Like I said, I just want to reiterate that. If you're not willing to have that commitment of that token commitment of $5 a week, then do not enter the competition. It is a serious competition, and it is seriously there for us. We are totally committed about helping these 100 people, these 100 businesses around the world. But we're 5 days away. It kicks off Sunday morning. You'll see it start up. So let's get on there, be prepared Sunday morning. It'll come on nice and early. So it'll be the normal competition setup that we have. Share the post, follow our page, put done on the post. If you've already followed us, then, that already counts. You don't have to do that. So, all right, guys, thanks very much. I appreciate your time tonight. And we will see you on Saturday afternoon when we do a quick reminder live of the comp starting on Sunday morning. So we'll talk to you guys on Saturday.